Welcome to the Real Estate 401k Show. Here are your hosts, Ryan Gertis, Mike Weinstein, and Justin Frederick, helping you build a legacy of wealth through real estate. Powered by the Recon Group at West USA and the Frederick team with Fairway Mortgage. NMLS number 625918.
Well, we have the lovely Justin Fredericks here. You know, who
The lovely.
the lovely,
Okay.
yeah, always dressed to impress, and
Very dainty.
yeah, and then we have the very seasoned, prehistoric Mike Weinstein.
Very
here.
seasoned.
Starting
And then we have the young and chipper Ryan Gertis here hosting the Real Estate 401k Show. Thank you for joining us.
I think I'm going to go with start a new group called the Fossil Real Estate Group. Right, that seems about fit. It's just one of those things, and I know it makes people mad. You take a look at athletes and the salaries that they make, and movie stars and performers and music and so forth, and they bring obviously a great value to our lives, but it's always in the form of entertainment. And every time I go to a basketball game, I just watch these 6'8" dudes run around the court. I'm like, they're getting paid millions and millions of dollars to do that. And then we look at teachers. Teachers are absolute heroes. And what they do for our society, they do not get paid enough. There's no teacher, there's no unified school district anywhere in the country that would say that our teachers are getting paid what they deserve. And teachers here in Arizona, Arizona's struggling. And they're not struggling to hire teachers. They're struggling to retain teachers. Like, teachers are getting into this, and then, they start having kids, or, they start wanting to buy homes and so forth. And they realize, their salary is just not there. And so they're leaving the teaching field. And my mom, God bless her, Ryan and Justin, you guys know my mom real well.
Mm-hmm.
She was a kindergarten teacher, same classroom for 39 years.
You just don't see that anymore.
Teaching kindergarten.
Wow. Your mom's a saint.
I know, and she still treats me like I'm in kindergarten.
Well,
I don't know whether it's deserved or
Yeah,
or,
it's
or
deserved.
Yeah, in your case, the cobbler's children did not have shoes.
well, if you're a teacher, you're going to want to text the word teacher to 623-AZ-RECON. That's teacher to 623-AZ-RECON. I think teachers are in a phenomenal position. You get into teaching for a reason. I guess what I'm saying, you don't get into teaching to get paid. Okay, it's never about
It's
the
a
money.
passion project.
It's a passion project. And then, like I said, they feel like they're not making enough money and they get out of it. I think, and especially with winter break coming up upon us, I think one of the best things that teachers could do, Ryan, is go get their real estate license. It is illegal for me to pay an unlicensed person a referral fee. So if somebody sends me a referral, don't hold out your hand thinking I'm going to give you $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 because I'm not going to put my license on the line. But you go out and get your license, and then you can get a referral fee. And for teachers, I think it's a great opportunity because they don't have to go out and sell. They don't have to put people in their cars. They don't have to write contracts. They just need to have real estate conversations. And teachers, they got a ton of connections, Ryan.
Did you know that Christine, my wife, was a teacher for about 8 years?
I did not know that.
Yeah, she taught English to 7th and 8th graders.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Because
and
my wife was a teacher, an
Yeah.
English teacher for 7, 8 years.
and yeah, over at the Alhambra School District. Very difficult neighborhood, very difficult demographics, so to speak. And every day, it was a very emotional thing, and she just worked countless hours on it. And about her second year in, we went over to when you enter the education field here, they try to pair you up with like a mentor, right? Her mentor retired her second year in, and so she invited us over to her retirement party. And we're expecting to go over to a modest home, right? We get there, and it's this massive, gorgeous home.
So
on
what
two-
you're not expecting, right?
on 2 acres with this like resort style swimming pool. I mean, this kitchen that just I mean, it was awesome. We walked in there, and I was like, "Damn, this education business isn't all that bad," like, And her mentor was probably in her mid to late 50s, retiring. We're like, I mean, she's got plenty of years left to enjoy her life. She's got this gorgeous home, and her husband was in law enforcement. Now, law enforcement pays a little bit better, mind you, but still not enough to afford a place like this. And so we're over there talking with her, and we're like, "This is magnificent. I mean, like, are you a trust fund baby or what's going on?" She's like, "No, this is all real estate, baby." And I was new to the industry, and I was like, "Well, hell yeah." I didn't realize how deeply they were embedded. And she did have a real estate license, and her husband was just a very, very active investor from the day that that it went down. And so they were able to leverage their relationships between law enforcement and
Education.
and the education, other teachers, admin, of course, parents that needed housing. She was over there, kind of being their beacon of education, and lining them up with the agents that she had worked with for forever. And then on top of that, they were investing, and because of their deep-rooted involvement in the community and their work, etc., they were running into amazing deals. And so that's how this teacher was able
That's
to
fantastic,
retire.
man.
And so
Great story.
it was just like, it was really impactful, and it really kind of brought home our plight and our message that we have had since day one, and that is all about creating generational wealth and being able to essentially create a real estate 401k.
Well, Justin, as you know, I mean, teachers they're generally good at relationships. They talk to a lot of people, and the way the numbers break down, I mean, if you're a teacher and you send a referral, you go out and get your real estate license, and I'm telling teachers, think about doing this winter break, because you need some time to do it, right? You go out and you refer a deal to another agent that you've built a relationship with. And in a minute, I'm going to talk about what sets us apart and how we really help teachers. And we do this a lot with military people. We have a lot of Air Force pilots that send us referrals. Go get your real estate license, And so you send someone over, and if the gross commission, let's just say, is $10,000, which is kind of low for our market, but I need round even numbers to do my math.
Yeah.
25% referral fee for just making a introduction, that's going to put $2,500.
You do that once a month.
Do that once a month. You can now teach and afford to teach and do what you love to do and do what you're passionate
possibly
about.
a 6-figure income.
And still have a good quality of life, not out there having to hustle and find houses or sell houses or anything like that. Yeah, sounds like a great deal to me.
All right, go ahead and text teacher to 623-AZ-RECON. So here's the other caveat to it. And this message is going to go out to anyone that is well-connected, can have real estate conversations with people, and develop a referral business and want to get paid on this. But what makes us different, and this is why I think teachers should text us and reach out to us, because they get their real estate license and they start having a conversation about real estate and they don't know what to say. They don't know, Brian, how to navigate these conversations and how to get that other person excited about working with their agent.
It's interesting. Just this morning, I was interviewing an agent, and she used to be an educator, and we were talking about how there's so many different parallels because many agents suffer from the fact that they don't realize that they're running a business, right? And so they get their license, and they don't realize that they're the CEO, the CFO, the chief marketing, tech. And sometimes the janitor, right? They just say, "Oh, I just need to go out there and sell." Well, one of the beauties of it is that when you're an educator, I mean, you're given a syllabus from day one, right? It's okay. This box needs to be checked. This order of business needs to be taken care of before you can take care of the next one, so on and so forth. And so you already have a map in front of you on how to be a successful teacher. Are there good teachers and bad teachers? Of course. But at the end of the day, if you're checking all those boxes, then you're going to run into a lot of people that need that kind of help. And it could be a massive supplement or even a primary form of income for you if you decide that, hey, maybe teaching isn't the path that you thought it was all cracked up to be. We've seen some very successful people transition over into the real estate industry. And you know what I think the biggest one is that teachers care. And they want to take care of the people that they're in front of. And so it all translates over, and so they just really know how to break things down and teach. So if you've ever bought a home before, you'll know that every single experience is different. There's always different players, there's always different properties, there's always something different about it. And being able to pivot and teach those little idiosyncrasies all along the way to make sure that you are getting to the finish line as fast and efficient as possible, that's really one of the big translators for me, anyhow.
Yeah, and we refer to it as our real estate 401k ambassador program. And you mentioned, they know how to teach and they have a syllabus, and I think it's what makes us unique and helps teachers or military or whatever the case is, because when you join our ambassador program, we're going to teach you. And we have a syllabus.
Right.
And we have trainings to make the job easier to go out and generate these referrals.
And like you said, it's difficult for a lot of people to just walk up and have a conversation with just anybody. But it is a lot easier to go over there and have a personal conversation with somebody, because a lot of times, teachers are having very personal conversations with other educators and with, parents, et cetera, because, a lot of it hinges on what's happening at home. And when there's any of those big milestones, whenever there's, a marriage or, a new baby on the way or whatever, these are all usually pretty big indicators that somebody is in need of getting a new roof over their head, or they got a big promotion at work. They need to expand their real estate portfolio. These are some of the things that we're going to teach you that's part of the syllabus as far as key market indicators for people that are getting ready to transact that could create supplemental income for you.
All right, if you are good at networking and you're good at sending referrals, but you don't want to go out and actually do the selling of homes, we highly encourage you to consider getting your real estate license, especially if you're in the teaching world. And we will walk you through all those steps. We'll explain how the process works. But you have to reach out to us, and you can do that by texting the word TEACH to 623-AZ-RECON. That's TEACH to 623-AZ-RECON. Now, Justin, on the other side of things, because I think for teachers, they get to a point, typically when a teacher starts, they don't own a home. And I know it's not always the case. But when a teacher comes right out of college and they start teaching, they're generally renting. But at some point, they want to invest in real estate and they want to buy that first home. But you take a look at the teacher salary, it can be tough. And that's part of why Arizona's having a hard time retaining teachers. But, they still may not want to do real estate, but you got a real estate license now. And there is a commission on the table, and it can help teachers dramatically afford buying a home.
Absolutely. Well, one of the biggest things that we find with teachers is because their salaries are lower, they don't tend to have much savings. Now, there's a lot of teachers that find a way to continue to save, and it's amazing what they're able to do with what they're actually making. But with that commission, you can use that commission as far as a down payment. You can use that for a down payment. You can get a seller to give you concessions, so you could walk into a home with no money out of pocket if you negotiate it correctly, and you guys are the right people to talk to when it comes to stuff like that.
And so there would also be the warning, though. The temptation would be not to seek professional advice. So just because you have your real estate license, Ryan, and that commission is on the table doesn't necessarily always mean that it's the best option.
I mean, let's be honest here. What are we learning in real estate school?
Nothing that teaches you to do what you're doing, right?
It does not make you a real estate professional.
No.
And not that you can't be qualified fast if you have the right kind of people behind you, but all you're learning in real estate school is how to pass a test. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? But the barrier of entry into this industry is pretty low. So all of that being said, it's a great thing if you are looking to just essentially make those connections. I wouldn't jump into the realm of giving professional advice until you've really jumped in over on the actual operation and production side, especially with the things that have been happening as of late, and like with the Department of Justice and National Association of Realtors. You're gonna have to be. It's gonna get even more difficult for barrier of entry. I think is one of the things that's going to happen, but I also think that it's going to make it even a little bit more difficult to navigate some of these transactions. So if you don't know what you're doing and all you have is a real estate license, just be careful with it. What we want to do is we want to illustrate what is available for you as far as supplemental income. But if you actually do want to try to negotiate contracts, you need to have a lot of assistance there.
Yeah, and as I alluded to earlier, guys, it's not necessarily just teachers. I can only imagine that there's a lot of people listening to this podcast and go, I never really thought about it. I've got a great agent that I've worked with, or a great couple agents that I've worked with, and I have introduced so many of my family and friends to them, and then thought never crossed my mind, how can I legally get paid? What is that number? At what point you're sending X amount of referrals a year? At what point, and you're introducing your family and friends to agents, at what point do you need to go get your real estate license?
3. I think the number is 3. Now, that's also going to prompt some type of conversation about what kind of brokerage that you're going to go hang your license with, because not all brokerages are created equal. But so our brokerage is West USA, and at West USA, I feel like if you're doing 3, then you should hang your license, or you go get your real estate license and hang it, because at that point, that's when it starts to really make monetary sense. Because there are some other things that come along with getting your license. You have dues, and then you have continuing education. They're not huge expenses, but they're expenses nonetheless.
And if you don't know what you're doing and you're not talking to the right people, there are certain fees that we have to pay every single year that an agent who's not actively selling but sending referrals doesn't have to pay. And so there's all kinds of different options, and we want to walk you through these options. You got a great opportunity with winter break coming up. I'm not going to lie. I'm just not going to sugarcoat it. It's a pain in the ass, those classes. But now everything's done online, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pain in the ass when you're going through it. But then once you're done with it, you're like, wasn't so bad.
And then you get your first check, and you're like, very, very nice.
Yeah, it was worth it.
All right, well, we'd love to have that conversation with you. We'll help you guide you through that process. All you got to do is text the word TEACH to 623-AZ-RECON. That's TEACH to 623-AZ-RECON.
Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate 401k Show. If you want more information on how to build wealth, click on the link or text us at 623-297-3266. That's 623-AZ-RECON.